Yeah.
For whatever reason, external mics except for Brad are not working.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Should I just move this out of the way, or does it still look official?
No, move it because it's like people are like, why does he sound like this?
Why does he sound like shit? What is he, stupid?
Is the light okay in here?
It's fine. Oh, this is all kind of a wash. Very cool. All right, let's start with Scooby-Doo, but first let's introduce the podcast. Oh, man, my stomach hurts. Welcome back to Never Did It. I'm Brad Garoon, and I'm here with Jake Ziegler. On Never Did It, we look back at the last 100 years of movie history and then some in an effort to fill in some of our own movie blind spots. And we are in the middle of Season 2, Animation Boogaloo, our mini-series looking back at the last nearly 100 years of animation. Actually, looking back at the last 100 years. And we have two special guests with us on this episode, one who's only popping in for the first chunk and one who will be with us for the whole episode. We've got Vivian Ziegler, our Scooby-Doo expert.
Hi.
And we've got Kevin Ford, the Castle of Cagliostro himself.
Thanks, I guess.
We've got Viv here. Let's start with, I know her favorite franchise, but more than Godzilla. Jake, you recommended that we watch Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. Oh wait, I should mention, we're covering this is the decade, the 1970s. Jake had been promising to get a Scooby-Doo movie in this series somewhere, and this is where he chose to do it, and he chose the first ever Scooby-Doo television special. Why did you choose Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood?
Well, when we had looked at the list of films that were potentials for this, the ones that we had not seen, everything, you'd sent me over a list, and as soon as I saw Scooby-Doo on it, yeah, I had to pick that one, because like I said, I'd been wanting to shoehorn one of those in at some point, and my daughter Viv and I have watched a ton of the Scooby-Doo animated films, so this seemed like a perfect place to do it, and just kind of talk about, the franchise as a whole, because it's been long-lasting. And I think if we're discussing the history of animation, I think Scooby-Doo warrants a spot.
For sure. Viv, how many Scooby-Doo movies have you seen?
More than I can count.
Yeah.
I've seen the Lego one, both of the live action ones, a lot of the animated ones, Camp Scare.
What's the cyber demon one where they have that fun song?
Cyber Chase.
Yeah. Abracadabra. Yeah, Abracadabra, Scooby-Doo.
Cool. And Kevin, did you watch the show when you were a kid, or have you seen any of these movies before this?
Yeah, well, so you gave me the list and said, here's the stuff we have left over, and Scooby-Doo is why I picked this, because I loved Scooby-Doo as a kid. And actually, like, when I thought about it, this was sort of the first time I noticed, like, a studio, because I would watch in the summers and holidays and stuff, I'd watch a lot of Cartoon Networks in the movies, and they would do a ton of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And so I like all these shows, and they have this Hanna-Barbera square with the character at the end, and I realized, like, oh, yeah, I really like a lot of what I didn't know what to call it at the time, but come to find out, this animation studio, like, I like a lot of their stuff, but Scooby-Doo was always my favorite. And I even liked a pup named Scooby-Doo when I was a kid as well.
So I never watched any Scooby-Doo growing up. This, I think, is the first Scooby-Doo movie I've now seen a bunch of them, because I watched this and I was like, is this what it is? And I watched a ton. I mean, I know what it is because I've lived in the 80s and 90s.
Did you not see either live action one in like 2001 or whatever? Okay.
No, I never watched them, but I had the Scooby-Doo theme song and a pup named Scooby-Doo theme song stuck in my head my entire life because I watched shows around it on Saturday mornings. Very good job at theme music. And as I was watching Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood, I was like, is this only popular because the theme song was so good? And I've watched more of it now, so I understand it a little bit better. But Jake, why don't you take us through what Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood is?
Kind of a compilation, really, of skits, and it's short. I mean, it's 45 minutes, 49 minutes, or whatever it is. But it's kind of a compilation where Shaggy decides that Scooby should be a bigger star than their Saturday morning TV show, so he wants to get him into bigger projects. So they go through a bunch of different things where, like, Scooby's trying to do this kind of movie, and then Scooby's going to try to do that kind of movie. And it's a lot of references to stuff that was popular then, which I think was kind of lost on
I was very confused.
Yeah.
One of them reminded me of Grease. Yeah, the jukebox one.
So did you tell her what Happy Days was?
No.
No.
Didn't
Yeah.
Didn't show the Two Wild and Crazy Guys sketch from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Laverne and Shirley, or the Sonny and Cher show.
There was just too much. I mean, I could have started explaining these things, but I would have spent the entire movie explaining what these things are. So, yeah, it was. But that's it. It's like a compilation almost. For a feature movie, it's more compilation than anything.
And this was to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the show, which began, I think, debuted in 1969 and was on CBS in a couple different incarnations and then moved to ABC. Also in a few different incarnations, you had Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, which was the original, The Scooby-Doo Show, and then there was like a bunch of stuff where it would be more like what Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood is, where every episode was a little bit longer and it would have a guest star from the real world. Not like this, where it's like a fake Fonz and a fake Cher called Sherry and a fake Laverne called Lavina or whatever. But it would really be those actors. And then eventually it came to this. I don't know what they were really trying to accomplish with this, aside from probably just the fact that like variety shows were really popular at the time. And this was definitely that. Kevin, what did you think of it?
I thought it was fun. I liked the music. Here's a question for you. Is the determination for feature length different for animation versus live action?
For me, I've always just gone by the Academy, like the Oscar rules. And for them, feature length is over 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
why did I think it was like 70 minutes?
No. But yeah, I've always just gone by that. They do documentaries, lives, and animated are all the same 40 minutes.
Well, anyways, I thought it was fun. I thought at first they were going to make it like a little deeper when they're going to the studio to talk to him and everybody knows and loves Scooby and nobody knows who Shaggy is. I thought it was going to be a little more like, oh, Shaggy's sort of pushing his insecurities on Scooby to be more big, but they didn't really go that deep with it.
You don't go deep at all. I mean,
no, it's not. But this is my adult brain.
Right.
This.
Fred and Velma and Daphne do nothing in this. They like have characters.
So Scooby's gonna leave the show, and they're like, "Well, that's sad." I'm like, "Hang on, there's no show without Scooby. Why are you guys so chill about this?"
You didn't like all of the Scottish actor or the bumbling dog or the really weirdly gay coded dog?
That was a clever way to get him back, I suppose. But I will say, like, when I'm watching something, don't remind me of something better or preferred. And when they did the song about Scooby-Doo, We Miss You, and we're seeing all the mysteries of the TV show, I'm like, yeah, I think I'd kind of rather be watching one of those. But as for what it is, a one-off special, it was fun. It was enjoyable, but doesn't beat the show for me. Right. The classic mystery Scooby-Doo episodes.
Totally. Vivian, have you ever watched the original Scooby-Doo TV show?
I have not watched the original Scooby-Doo show, but I watched the newer one. I watched it all the way through to season 2.
What about Velma? Did you watch that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, neither did anyone else, apparently.
That kind of weirded me out a little bit.
Say why?
Because I'm just not used to like Velma being the main character. Like I'm used to like Scooby or Shaggy or Daphne or something. It's also not for me.
What else can we say? Jake, did you like this?
Yeah, I mean, Viv and I sat and watched it together, and I mean, I enjoyed it again. Like again, for what it is, it's not one I would probably go back to again. Whereas like some of these Scooby movies, like the ones we mentioned a little bit earlier, I mean, we've watched on repeat, and they're still enjoyable. Like Kevin said, I mean, them solving mysteries, that's where the bread is buttered here. You know, I don't really want to see Scooby trying other things. Again, I see why they did it. And at 45 minutes, I was like, okay, this is fine. But honestly, I was a little disappointed. Like, I thought we'd have more fun, to talk about with this movie. It's like, it's a Scooby movie. And it was a little disappointing, but not bad or anything.
Sure. If you want Shaggy as a narcissist sociopath, then this is perfect.
I'm very concerned about Shaggy.
Yeah.
You should be.
It's not what I think of when I think of Shaggy. So I went and watched Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and I watched the most popular episode of Scooby-Doo, which was Night of the Creeper, or The Creeper is a Creeper, or something like that. And I thought they were both okay. They were both like the thing. Like The Creeper is I think the most popular episode of the show ever, and it's very much the formula. The gang goes to a place, the first adult man they meet ends up being the bad guy, but he's dressed as a ghoul. And then in Zombie, I was surprised when I got to the Zombie movie, which I think was the first direct-to-DVD movie, that they're actually doing supernatural stuff in Scooby-Doo now. So that was interesting, because the premise of the show was always there's no such thing as ghosts. And then that's the premise of that movie, where no one believes in ghosts, and then whoops, there actually are werecats and zombies.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was all right. You guys like that one?
Yeah, I watch it on repeat all the time.
Oh, wow.
My favorite part is the werecat part.
Yeah, Zombie Island, that's one of the more fun ones, I think, too. Yeah, because like I said, it kind of turns the there's no ghost thing on its here. It's kind of takes the seat of the show and kind of puts a little new spin on it. So they don't go super deep on a lot of things like we just said, but this one was, like a fun little twist on it. So yeah, that's a fun one.
Right. And in this one, you have like Daphne and Fred making each other jealous. So at least they have some kind of a personality. Velma's always just Velma. She's the only one that really had a character before. And then have any of you guys seen Scoob? !
Yeah, I cried during it. It was sad.
So I watched Scoob this morning. I finished it about an hour ago. Scoob is very good.
Yeah.
It's got like a 2.3 on Letterboxd.
That's wrong.
People are real like, oh, we didn't need a crossover. Have you seen it, Kevin?
No, but I was just looking it up. Some good people in this, but like, yeah, 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.6 on IMDb, 2.3 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, the critics and the fans are wrong. The voice cast is incredible. It's Will Forte as Shaggy, Zac Efron as Fred, Amanda Seyfried as Daphne, Gina Rodriguez as Velma,
Ken Jeong, Dynamite.
Ken Jeong as Dynamite. He's very funny. Mark Wahlberg is the total standout as the idiot superhero Blue Falcon, who is like designed in a Hanna-Barbera style, but he's the son of Blue Falcon and he can't live up to his dad's legacy. It's a very good movie and like a really interesting critique on the MCU. And I saw like people on Rotten Tomatoes were complaining that they like were leaning too hard into crossovers. That makes me think they never watched the TV show, which had tons of crossovers all the time. I saw some people were mad that Simon Cowell played himself in it. We just got done talking about like the Fonz showing up.
Simon Cowell.
Yes, Simon Cowell. And that ending was so funny. I won't spoil it for Kevin. Actually, it's not really spoilable. The double fake out, the double mask at the end is very good. And it was emotional. It gave everyone a strong character, everyone in Mystery Inc. Fred's relationship with the Mystery Mobile was very funny. I finished it and I was like, oh, this is my new Boss Baby. I'm going to evangelize this movie the way that I evangelized the Boss Baby, because people are wrong about Scoob! The first and as yet only animated feature-length theatrically released Scooby-Doo movie ever in 59 years of Scooby-Doo.
A prequel was canceled. That was supposed to come out in August 2022.
I'm glad you brought that up. I talked about that in my Letterboxd review. So people complain all the time about Batgirl and about Coyote versus Acme, and The Day the Earth Blew Up got bought by Ketchup Entertainment after HBO Max shut it down. Everyone complains about these things getting canceled. I don't see anyone complaining about the Scoob prequel getting canceled, which it's especially interesting because the best part of the movie probably was the first 10 minutes when they're all kids and they're, meeting each other. They changed the origin story, which we got in Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood, which was not very interesting, but the origin story in Scoob is much better.
Did it play in theaters though? You said it was theatrical.
May 2020.
It played outside the United States in theaters, but because of the pandemic, it aired, streamed on HBO Max.
Yeah, because I feel like we paid for it. I don't know. I feel like I remember paying like $20 to watch it, like to rent it when it came out or something. But yeah, I remember it being a pandemic highlight, because we were stuck inside and we're like, right. Oh my God, Scooby movie, we can watch it home.
I just don't get how people didn't like this movie. Anyway, yeah, it's a travesty that the prequel, which was about the young characters, which was very funny in Scoob, is shelved, and it has been screened one time. It is not like finished. It is nearly finished, and they screened it for friends and family once, which I found out because I was doing a deep Twitter dive about where's the outrage, and I found one Twitter account called Save Scooby-Doo Holiday Hijinks or whatever that movie's called. And Holiday Haunt. So let's get it going. Save Holiday Haunt.
What is the Scooby output these days? Because as far as I know, like when I stopped watching, that was sort of the end of the show, and it's been a lot of straight to DVD or straight to VOD stuff, a lot of crossover stuff like Flintstones, WWE, Jetsons, whatever, properties like that. But I definitely like remember Scoob, but didn't really remember it. But I didn't really know about Velma or the other show you guys were talking about. So where is Scooby-Doo kind of today?
I think nothing right now. There's probably stuff in development, but there was Velma. There was the new Scooby-Doo episodes, right?
The newest Halloween movie.
Oh, there was Halloween.
And there was Trick or Treat or Trick or Trouble.
Oh yeah,
Velma came out as lesbian in the Halloween movie.
Interesting. And was she, Jake, do you know, was she voiced by Mindy Kaling in the Halloween movie? Like, is the Velma TV show a continuation of that? I think the Halloween thing is a special that was the series finale of Velma.
I think that's right, yeah.
Which was totally, everyone hated it. Left, right, and center. Everyone hated the Velma show for different reasons. It has like a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Wikipedia does attribute that to review bombing, but I have never heard anyone at all say a good thing about the Velma show.
Sure.
Right. But no, it looks like Velma was voiced by Kate Micucci.
Garfunkel and Oates, yeah.
Yeah.
That totally checks out for Velma.
Yeah. For sure.
I've got a bunch of straight to DVD movies. Viv would pick them up, like Walmart. They'd be like $10 or something. There was like a Wild West Scooby-Doo movie that came out within the last couple of years.
There's like a Surf's Up crossover I think I saw at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Something like that. And of course the WWE one, WrestleMania mystery, which
I watched that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, we've seen that one a bunch, and that one's pretty good. Like that's a fun time with all the the WWE guys that are in it doing their own voices and stuff. So yeah, I mean they're still putting out stuff. They've done like some like a Wizard of Oz crossover crossover. They did the Willy. No, is that Tom and Jerry?
That's
Did the Willy...
Jerry.
Yeah, I get some of the crossovers confused.
So yeah, justice for Scoob. If you like these, I don't like the cartoons, but I'm way in the minority. People really like that Halloween Zombie Island one. Got has a 3.9 on Letterboxd.
Wow.
Yeah, that's real.
Are these on on Tubi or anything like that? Like the older ones people can go watch, or
I watched Zombie Island on Fandango at home, but there's a couple on HBO Max. I'm sure there's stuff on Tubi, and some of the series are on HBO Max. Like the original series, not every episode, but a lot of the original episodes are on HBO Max. All right, so that'll do it for Scooby-Doo. Any parting thoughts, Viv?
It was a really fun episode. Yeah, this was a really fun movie, even though I had no idea what was going on. I am not from your guys' time.
Thank you so much, Vivian. And then I recommended for y'all Lupin the Third, although I guess for the Japanese it's Lupin the Third, and then for this dub it's Wolf, the Castle of Cagliostro. I found that very annoying, but I did not find this movie annoying. I love this movie, and I like it more every time I watch it. This is Hayao Miyazaki's directorial feature-length debut. Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli partner Isao Takahata worked on the Lupin the Third anime series together based on the manga by Monkey Punch. Yeah, I thought this movie was really dope, so I thought y'all should see it. And I know, Jake, I know you're a huge Ghibli fan. Kevin, I assumed you are a Ghibli enjoyer.
Yes, you are correct. But I didn't when I picked this, I had no idea this was a Miyazaki film. I just saw Scooby-Doo and it's like, sure, I'll do that, and then whatever other thing Brad picked. And then I watched it like, holy crap, it's his first film. That's awesome. Yeah, I lucked out.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're trying, within reason, we're trying to do like cool things that people might not have seen. And I think a lot of people think My Neighbor Totoro is Miyazaki's first movie, but not even close. I think it's like his fifth.
Yeah, it's several before.
And this one's cool. So Lupin the Third, the character, is the grandson of the French character Arsène Lupin. There's a show on Netflix now called Lupin. It stars Omar Sy as a gentleman thief. Arsène Lupin was a gentleman thief. He's like the Sherlock Holmes of France, except instead of being a detective, he's a thief. And the show on Netflix is cool because it's like a guy inspired by the character. And Monkey Punch was so inspired by the character that he made Lupin the Third without getting permission to use the name. Japan was not at the time enforcing international trademark law, and by the time the estate or whoever of Lupin got around to suing them, Monkey Punch and co argued, well, this is so well known now that it's ours. And that worked. So that's how we got Lupin the Third. Lupin and his friend are doing a bank robbery, and they realize all the money, or not a bank, just some kind of robbery, and they realize all the money is counterfeit, which is a bummer for them because it's a crap ton of money. And they trace all the counterfeit money back to the country kingdom of Cogliostro, where all this counterfeiting of world currency is going on. And there's a princess in this town that needs saving, and Lupin has a history with her from her childhood, which I was always really worried was going to lead to some grooming. Thankfully never did. And he has to save the day and expose Count Cagliostro as a kidnapper and a counterfeiter with the help of his gang from the TV show. Although I found you really did not need to watch the TV show to enjoy this movie. Jake, what'd you think of the Castle of Cagliostro?
Loved this movie, and I'm glad to hear you say you loved it too, because I feel like I looked at your review and you'd given it like only 3 stars, which sounds more like than love. So I'm happy to hear that you love it, because I was like, oh man, did I do it wrong? Well, yeah. But yeah, I love this movie. I love the character, and I'm roughly familiar with it. I'd actually seen there's like that more recent version, Lupin the Third, the first.
Yep.
So that's called.
Came out in 2019.
Yeah, and I liked that one. It was on the list, the Oscar animated list that year, so I ended up seeing it, and I liked that. But I love this movie. I thought like the character's super cool. He's like kind of like a cross between, he's like an Ethan Hunt, James Bond,
Danny Ocean.
Yeah, he's like just a bunch of different things, kind of all in one, bombastic character. And I thought the animation was cool. I like that 70s style of the way Ghibli looks. I mean, their movies always look good. And yeah,
not Ghibli. This is pre-Ghibli.
That's right. Sometimes it gets lumped in there. I still like the way it looks and everything. It's just fun. It's like just a lot of fun. Like action, like the action scenes are awesome. It's just a cool action movie.
What'd you think of?
I love a good caper, so this was a good time. It's relentless too. You're dropped right into they're leaving the casino with the counterfeit money, and it kind of doesn't let up from there. Could be shortened up a little, but it's a pretty fast, 100 minutes or so or whatever it is. And like the Jake said, it's just super fun. Great animation for 79. You would never know. It looks very contemporary still. Yeah, the characters are great. I mean, there's some of the minor ones that maybe you could have spent a little more time with, but you get the gist. Like, you don't need it. And maybe that's, you were saying, a symptom of this being part of the animated show. So there's some expectation you're coming in with some back knowledge, but I don't think that hindered my enjoyment at all. I mean, its only critique really is that it's not, Miyazaki would get so much better, I think, later. And this is already pretty dang great for what it is.
Yeah. So when Jake talked about my 3-star, which is now a 3.5-star review of this, I watched it for the first time after binging every Studio Ghibli movie. So it's a sliding scale. You're usually reacting to other things you watched around the time, which might be why I gave Scoob 4 stars after watching Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood and was like, come on. Let's get a real movie in here. But yeah, 100% the crew, I'm getting a crew together. Those characters are not developed, and that's because they were developed in the television show. But I loved, speaking of characters that aren't main characters, the cop who is, the foil but not the villain, I thought was so funny. On second watch, I became obsessed with him. The way that, there's sort of a three-way dance going on here between Lupin, the cop, and the Count. And the way that story gelled was so funny, watching Lupin use the police and Interpol as a weapon against the Count and vice versa. It was really, really good. And I had forgotten how grisly the Count's demise was. That was really gnarly for a children's cartoon.
Just get stuck in some clock hands and get squished.
The sound was disgusting.
Oh, gosh.
I could not believe it. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. I almost had to stop and just kind of take it in.
Yeah, gnarly stuff. So you watched the Lupin the Third, the first. I've never seen another Lupin movie, but there's one that came out in Japan last month, and I assume will come out here probably early next year, which I'm excited for. The one Lupin the Third, the first, I thought was interesting because it kind of exposes how much the bad guys, which is also a heist movie, and the bad guys part 2 are influenced by the character design here. So if you like the bad guys, which I think is just okay, but Jake, I know you like it a lot. Kevin, have you seen the bad guys?
No, I don't think so.
I thought maybe because Marin's in it, you might have seen it.
Oh, no, I have not seen it. Okay.
Heavily influenced by Lupin, and then, or Lupin the Third. Did anyone else feel crazy when they were calling him Wolf? I know Lupin means wolf, but that drove me fucking nuts. His name is not Wolf. What a weird quirk of English dubbing from the 70s. I assume 80s.
I got used to it. It was annoying at first, but then I just kind of was like, well, what are you going to do?
I was confused, genuinely. Maybe I'm dumb, but I'm like, who are they talking about? What is going on here? And my dad's name is Wolf. So that's very weird for me to not have picked that up. Anywho, where would you, just out of, I don't know, for me, this is a little bit lower, but where would y'all rank this if it was part of the Ghibli universe? Since it is in Miyazaki's filmography, where would you put this?
Middle, low tier, but they're all pretty good. So something has to be middle, low tier, and that, right?
Yeah, and I'd probably say the same. Only because the others are so good. But I was honestly impressed. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars because I had so much fun with it and so enjoyed the action scenes so much, and it just kind of it exceeded my expectations. I think just because all those other movies are so great, and I'm like, well, this is the first one, and you don't hear people talk about it as much as you hear people talk about My Neighbor Totoro or Kiki's or Spirited Away or any of those. You just don't hear as much about it. So maybe it was a product of low expectations, but yeah, it's even at 4.5, it's probably still in the lower portion because many of his movies are 5.
Right. At 3.5, I have it around The Boy and the Heron, which could not be more different. His first and his last, they're very, very different from each other. I like Nausicaa, but what's that other one? Probably Porco Rosso. I like this probably about as much as Porco Rosso.
One of the ones I haven't seen.
Oh, really? Oh, you've got to go through and just finish them.
It's been on my list for a long time to finish those, and one of these days.
Yeah, do it now. He definitely didn't need to go this hard with a Lupin the Third movie. It's pretty astonishing. And like you said, his other movies are so great. A lot of that is because they're so emotional, and he does try to shoehorn in this emotional story between the princess and Lupin, who had met each other when she was a little girl and she saved his life. But it's that was the part where I was like, we actually didn't need any of that, and the movie would have felt streamlined without it. But then we wouldn't have gotten probably Lupin and Carl the dog rebonding, which Kevin sent me a photo of, which I really loved. Kevin, we didn't tell you to come equipped with this, and I don't know what your letterbox looks like or if you know this or what your experience is with 1970s animation, but we do a top 10 of the decade animated movies. You can pass if you'd like.
I will pass.
Okay. Jake, do you have yours?
I do. I don't have 10. I have seen 9 animated movies from the decade. One of them is not good, so I would say that I'm going to MySpace it, and I've got a top 8.
All right, it's us again from the future, because we need to talk about before we talk about our features, we need to talk about our top animated short films of the decade. I have one honorable mention, and I have a top 10. Honorable mention is Panda Go Panda, Rainy Day Circus by Isao Takahata. I don't love Panda Go Panda. In fact, his other Panda Go Panda film from the 70s is not on my list, but this one's better. I don't know. I think just it was a big part of his trajectory. And the guy who gave us Grave of the Fireflies deserves to be recognized at the beginning of his career. Mm-hmm. My number 10 is Great! This was an Oscar winner by Bob Godfrey, probably influenced by Yellow Submarine. Feels very much like a Terry Gilliam style cartoon. It's a bunch of like cutout animation, looks a lot like Monty Python style animation, and it's just like basically like British, for lack of a better word, memes of the time. It's pretty wild. My number 9 is Banjo the Woodpile Cat, which was one of Don Bluth's early shorts. So if you like Land Before Time or The Secret of Nim or All Dogs Go to Heaven, especially All Dogs Go to Heaven, this might be for you. My number 8 is Bill Melendez's A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Phil Roman also directed that. My number 7 is Leisure by Bruce Petty. This won the Oscar, as did my number 6, Closed Mondays by Bob Gardner and Will Vinton. These are a lot more, they feel much more like of the 70s, which is kind of cool if you want to get into that vibe. My number 5 is a movie that my cat fucking loves called The Sandcastle. I turned this on the TV and he went crazy for it. And it's like on my dog and cat's TikTok account and Instagram account. This is, I think, their most viral video is him watching the Sandcastle, stop motion animated Sandcastle stuff. My number 4 is Richard Williams' A Christmas Carol. This is, I think, one of the more recognized versions of this story. I certainly, when I watched it a couple years ago, as I was going through all the Oscar-winning shorts, it was very familiar to me. My number 3 is Marcel Yankovic's The Struggle. We've talked a lot about Marcel Yankovic on the show. We did a whole episode about Son of the White Mare, and he directed this as well. It's very cool. It's only 3 minutes. My number 2 is The Street, the movie that did not win the Oscar the year it came out, by Caroline Leaf, but should have. And my number 1 is The 2,000-Year-Old Man, Mel Brooks, making one of my lists again. He and Carl Reiner do their 2,000-Year-Old Man routine, and it's animated over. It's very funny. Directed by Leo Salkin.
My 70s list is... I don't know. It's really nothing to be proud of. I'm pretty lacking in this area. There were 2, I have seen 2 that didn't make my list. One of them I see that you saw too, called Every Child, which I thought was just obnoxious and awful. I actually gave it 1 star. It's the one, it was the UNESCO's Year of the Child film, follows an unwanted baby who's passed from house to house.
Yeah, I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, and I gave it 1. I didn't like it. And then David Lynch has his weird thing, The Grandmother, which is like kind of animated, but whatever it is, it's not that great. So that doesn't make the list either. And my top 5 is a little, it is what it is. All right. Yuki-san is my number 5, which is barely even a film. It's more like an advertisement for a series. Yeah, it's an early Miyazaki thing, which you can see on Mubi, which is why I watched it. I was going through Mubi one day and just being like, oh, what could I see on Mubi that is interesting?
Right. It's a sizzle reel.
It is. It's a sizzle reel. I mean, it's 5 minutes and it's like, oh, that's cool, but like, yeah, it's barely a short film.
I've seen people call it like, this is the greatest short film. I'm like, what is the coherent story being told in the movie?
There isn't one at all. Number 4 I have is called Special Delivery. It's by Eunice Macaulay and John Weldon. It's about a husband who, I don't know, the mailman slips and breaks his neck, and it's a whole thing from there. Number 3, I don't have a cat, as much as the neighbor cat wants to spend time over here. But I don't have a cat, but I still enjoy watching The Sandcastle. Very enjoyable. That's actually my number 2. My number 3 is the Oscar-nominated Christmas Carol, the Richard Williams version, which I think is one of the better versions of A Christmas Carol, one of the better million versions of that story. And then my number 1, again from the Winnie the Pooh anthology, I have Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2.
So you just tune me out when I do my list, huh?
Kind of, because I'm looking at stuff for my list, like getting ready. Yeah.
Because I mentioned the Richard Williams thing, and I kept looking at you, and I'm like, he's not responding. It's a Christmas thing, and he's not responding. All right. So now on to our features for the 1970s. Okay, lay it on us.
The one that's not good, just for complete sake, is Pete's Dragon, which I've spoken about on the podcast before, which was such a weird, awful movie to go back and watch. I was like, this is just terrible. So that's the one that I didn't like.
It's also not an animated movie, so you're off the hook.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, Letterboxd put it in the like when I looked up the animated category, like it put it in there. So it's like partially animated. Bears mentioning, but regardless, it's not good. So if we're doing, then if we're actually ranking the top 8, I'm gonna have Scooby Goes Hollywood at number 8 because I did enjoy it enough to I ended up on 3 stars for it. So number 7 is one I haven't seen in a while, but I do remember liking. That's the Aristocats. Marie is a hero of sorts around our house.
Super racist movie.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember there being enough non-racist things in it too.
It's just one scene, but it's bad.
It's really bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's 6 and 5 I kind of have as a tie because that's there are 2 the Rankin Bass Christmas films. The Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Year Without a Santa Claus. I had both of them at 4 stars. I quite enjoy both of those. Number 4 then would be Disney's Robin Hood, which I watched on repeat as a kid, over and over and over again. I mean, if I watched it today, I could probably still say all the lines from it as they're saying them. Best part of that movie that still cracks me up every time is when the snake gets exasperated and like somehow like crosses his arm, like his little his non-snake arms. There's so many cool little bits in that movie.
The voice of Winnie the Pooh.
The voice of Winnie the Pooh, speaking of, and that would be my number 3 is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which, as we talked about in the Scooby thing, is a compilation of short films that had already existed, but I love all of them, and I love Winnie the Pooh, and The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is a wonderful experience to watch. And then my number 2 would be the one we spoke about at great length here, Castle of Cagliostro. It's wonderful, but it can't measure up to the number 1 animated film of the 1970s, which is, of course, The Phantom Tollbooth.
Cool. So, yeah, I love all those movies. Some of them show up on my list. I have 4 honorable mentions, and I do have a top 10 because I'm a freak. Oh, man, I wish I had rewatched The Point, which was going to be the other possibility for this episode as a recommendation for you, but whatever. I forgot it, and it's been so long, but I have it on Blu-ray, whatever. Honorable mentions, and just mentions because they're kind of strange. Point, which features the music of Ringo Starr. No, I think it's, oh yeah, it is. Ringo Starr is the narrator. Directed by Fred Wolf, a movie that I was obsessed with as a kid. Belladonna of Sadness, which is a psychosexual animated film that came out of Japan. Really odd. I watched it and didn't give it a rating. I don't really even know what to make of it. And then some actual honorable mentions. The Pinchcliffe Grand Prix, which is a pretty cool stop motion animated film that came out of Norway. It took me forever to track this thing down. When I finally did, I was like, that's cool and feels very 70s. Probably won't watch that again, but I liked it. Speaking of movies not from the United States, but a movie that's a little bit easier to track down because it's on Tubi and you can get it on Blu-ray at Deaf Crocodile, is Bubble Bath, which came from Hungary and is another, it's also like very weird. It's about a man who doesn't want to get married. So he goes to his fiance's or his bride-to-be on their wedding day, her assistant's house. She's not invited to the wedding. It's all very strange. There's the animated version of The Hobbit by Rankin and Bass, and The Aristocats is my other honorable mention. And then staying with Disney, my number 10 is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which it's so funny that Winnie the Pooh never got like a real feature-length animated film. He got this compilation film, and the other official Disney animated Winnie the Pooh movie is like 50 minutes. So we've talked about that in our Disney episode. My number 9 is Fantastic Planet, very famous cutout animation movie from France by René Laloux. I'm trying to think, what could I compare this to? Absolutely nothing. It's so weird. It's about giant aliens and little humanoids, and it's just bizarre. And everyone's blue. My number 8 is Krabat, the Sorcerer's Apprentice. This is, I think, Hungarian. It might be Czech. Czechoslovakian and German animated movie about a Czech folktale where a boy is turned into a raven by a wizard. When we talked in the 1940s episode, there was a stop motion animated movie that used a lot of this folklore. It's pretty cool. This is also cutout animation. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, and I don't remember in what context. Probably in the context of the year 1978 when it came out. Probably I talked about it in our 78 episode, but there's like cool cutout animation where like the wizard will go like this with his hands and the hands will become wings. And it's just like not something you expect from a cutout animated movie from 1978. Very neat. My number 7 is The Castle of Cagliostro, which we've talked about at great length. Spoiler, Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood does not appear on this list. My number 6 is The Stingiest Man in Town. This is another Rankin. I have several Rankin and Bass movies on the list, but not all the same ones as you. Only one of the same ones as you. This is a 2D animated Rankin and Bass movie. It's a Christmas Carol, but Scrooge is voiced by Walter Matthau, so get off my back. My number 5 is Johnny Corncob, or in its original Hungarian, János Vitéz, I think it's pronounced. This was directed by the same guy as Son of the White Mare and The Tragedy of Man, which Son of the White Mare we covered on the show. And it's another Hungarian folktale that they made into a movie. It's like Son of the White Mare, really trippy. A lot of Turkish people get killed because Europeans are racist. What do you want? Great movie, though. My number 4 is The Year Without Santa Claus, featuring the most amazing non-traditional Christmas song ever. Actually, 2. Snow Miser and Heat Miser. Their songs about themselves. Incredible. My number 3 is Watership Down, which I'm surprised didn't make your list, Jake. I know you've seen this.
No, not that I recall.
Oh, I thought you had. I thought we talked about that. Okay, so guess not.
It was so long ago, probably when I was younger or something. But yeah, I don't recall seeing it. No.
Okay, well, if you want to watch a crazy movie where rabbits get mutilated, but is ostensibly for children, like they showed this in schools and stuff, it's incredible.
It's compared to Felidae.
Felidae, yeah.
That like the violence.
Well, I would say the violence in Felidae is less realistic. The violence in Watership Down is like a little bit gritty. Watership Down's not a comedy at all, whereas Felidae had a lot of humorous moments. Watership Down's real gritty.
Is it streaming anywhere?
It's on Criterion.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, my number 2 is Disney's Robin Hood. Also watched this on repeat as a kid. I snuck Walter Matthau in here with The Stingiest Man in Town. I sneak Peter Ustinov in here with Robin Hood. He plays Prince John. This is like one of my favorite Disney movies by a lot. People call it Shaggy, and I get it. It uses a lot of the same structure as animated Disney movies that came before it. Came out during like a transition period for Disney, but man, it is so good. And these foxes are so sexy. It's bizarre. And then my number 1 is also The Phantom Tollbooth. And I don't know what else it could be. This is one of the best movies of all time, about a kid who's all mixed up about what the world wants from him, which is he's having like a crazy existential crisis at the age of 12, I think. And he goes into this magical imagination world that teaches him why going to school is important. He's seriously depressed. He's seriously depressed. This movie's wild. And it was directed by Chuck Jones with Abe Levitou and Dave Monahan, but Chuck Jones is the animating force behind it. Chuck Jones, who of course is an animation pioneer, won an Oscar for his short film, The Line and the Ball. What's it called?
The Dot and the Line?
The Dot and the Line, right.
Yeah, which is magnificent. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. And honestly deserved some kind of recognition for this, but it was never going to happen in the 70s. Just a really sweet movie, emotional, not in the way that like you're ever really worried that anything terrible is going to happen to the main character, but just watching him learn in a really engaging way and fighting with the king of Dictionopolis and the dictator of Digitopolis. I don't know. I love this movie so much. Have you seen The Phantom Tollbooth, Kevin? Kevin's shaking his head no.
No, I have not seen it.
You got to see it, man. It was on Netflix last year, and I rewatched it. I'm like, this holds up every single minute. So that'll do it for the 1970s in animation. Before we go, Kevin, where can people hear your voice, probably with better quality and a working mic?
Yes, that is true. So I did a short film podcast series called Fantastic Four-A. I am a huge Fantastic Four fan of the comics, so much so that I avoided all of the theatrical movies because I heard they were really bad and wanted to protect my feelings. But with this First Steps coming out this year and on the horizon, I said, you know what? I think I have the maturity to finally watch these films. And why not, if you're going to watch bad movies, make a podcast to go along with it? So I enlisted my buddy Matt Waters, who is a comic book and comic book fan enthusiast. And we watched all of the Fantastic Four movies and got my thoughts on seeing them for the very first time. That goes back to the Roger Corman one, both the Tim Story ones, the Josh Trank one, and then, of course, ending with First Steps, which is both of our first time seeing it. So that podcast is called Fantastic Four-A. It's, again, my first time seeing all those movies as a super fan. Matt asking me what I know about them before I actually watch them, and then my thoughts after we watch them. It's 5 episodes available wherever you listen to Never Did It or your other podcasts out there.
And speaking of other podcasts out there, you can hear Kevin and me and Justin Houston on Flooping the Pig, our very comprehensive Adventure Time podcast, which will come back if they ever produce more episodes, which I think Fiona and Cake is scheduled to come back eventually.
It's got a season 2 order. Don't know when that's coming, but we also had discussed at some point maybe venturing on to other things. But that was before Justin Houston had a baby, so that might affect some of those options.
Totally. I met Justin Houston's senator in the airport last week, or a couple days ago, actually. He was just in the Detroit airport.
And you guys just shit talk Justin Houston for a good half hour or so?
No. I wish, but
you wish?
I do. That would be so great. Me talking to John Ossoff about the mayor of Halloween Town himself, Justin Houston.
Forgot that was his nickname.
I mean, just one time. Okay, great. We'll be back next week with a look at the animated films of the 1980s.